Welcome back, everyone. Right now, there are nearly 7 million people across the country who are unemployed. But as we inch closer to the holidays, that number may actually grow. That's because the people out there who may choose to walk away from their jobs in the next few weeks. Let's bring in career expert Laura Gassner Otting. Laura, welcome to the show. Good morning.
Hi, it's great to be here.
Great to have you. So we know quitting a job is a tough decision. As a career expert, however, what do you say to people who are considering quitting, especially as we get closer and closer to the holidays?
Well, so I think that quitting during the holidays can be a good idea if you're in a position that is just unbearable, if it's hurting your well-being, if it is just crushing your soul. But you have to do some thinking about whether or not this is just a temporary situation. Maybe the end of year is busy, maybe your boss is a little stressed out, or maybe it's just this thing that's been going on for a while. You've sort of been in a slump for a long time. And so we tend to have this idea that what is right now is forever. So spend a little time before you jump ship and just make sure that you've thought through the financial and the personal impacts of doing the quitting right now, in particular during the holidays.
I am curious, what are some of the particular reasons people give you for quitting, especially this time of year?
Well, a lot of them say mental health. They say their mental health and their well-being. They are so stressed out. The end of year is super stressful. Maybe they've got a bad boss, burnout, toxic culture. Perhaps they've been, like I said, disconnected and disenchanted for a long time. A lot of times when the end of the year is super busy, they're feeling stressed out and they're running away from something. Sometimes they say they want to have some time to rest and recharge. The holidays give you a little time to be with your family. You can do a little thinking about whether or not this, what you want to do next. It also lets them prepare for the hiring surge in January. A lot of organizations, a lot of companies hire in January. So this gives job seekers a time to sort of take the maybe quieter work time and work on their resume, think about what they want to do next, maybe do some informational interviews. Obviously, of course, we're all doing a ton of networking right now during the holidays at these parties. So it gives us an opportunity also to get to see people and maybe hear a little bit about what's happening out in the world. And then finally, there's sort of this moment of seasonal reflection. You're hanging out with your family, you're hanging out with your friends, you look around, you're like, actually, I'm figuring out what aligns with my values a little bit more. I'm going to bring that into my job search in the new year.
Nearly half of people in a recent study agree with you. They said workplace stress is a major issue, but how do you combat that?
Well, we did a huge survey with our company. We have 10,000 responses from 74 different countries in every possible demographic in every possible industry. And what we found is, it's pretty obvious that bad leaders bleed out good people. Like, we know that. If you're a bad leader, people are going to leave you. So we focused our research specifically on people who say, I work for a quote unquote good leader. People who get good results, they've done all the training, they've got all the degrees on the wall. And what they said is that if I work for a good leader, but I don't have a relationship with that leader, I'm just as likely to leave as if I work for a bad leader. So if you are a boss and you're concerned about your people leaving, I would say the first thing you need to do is talk to them, figure out what they care about, figure out where their values are, how they want to manifest them on a daily basis in their work. And if you're somebody who's working somewhere and you're feeling disconnected, maybe hang out a little bit more, in the coffee room and walk your boss to the elevator and maybe learn about what they're thinking about long range in the company and how you might be able to fit into that. So really not focusing on producing, but really focusing on building those relationships that actually matter and help us feel connected and part of a community.
I actually love that advice, especially during the holiday season. So Laura, you've mentioned the pros. What are the cons of quitting right now?
Sure. I mean, obviously, the financial stress, right? You quit a job, there's no guarantee that you're going to get another job immediately. I always say to job seekers, they should have 6 months of savings in the bank before they quit a job. And those 6 months should be based on two numbers. There's the want to make number, and then there's the need to make number. So as long as you're covering your need to make number for 6 months, that's okay. Anything else that you have above that can go into the want to make number. There's also fewer job opportunities. People don't do a ton of hiring, and they don't do a ton of hiring fast during the holidays because a lot of people are out of the office and decision makers aren't around. Let's talk about the gap in benefits. If you're going to lose your health care, COBRA's pretty expensive to get on a monthly basis. So you've really got to think about what benefits you need and how long those benefits are going to last. And then lastly, because there's this pressure and there's not going to be a ton of hiring until January, you might end up taking a job that's worse than the one you have right now because you feel the pressure to take something. And that's going to just put you in a worse position and will actually reflect even more poorly on you in 3 months or 6 months or a year when you look again and suddenly you look at job hopper.
So take a step back, think about your decision before making that final jump is what you're saying.
Absolutely. Figure out if you're running towards something rather than running away from something.
Very well said. Laura Gassner Otting, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And coming up.